You set the alarm for 5 a.m. to finally start that morning routine. You swear this time will be different, but when it goes off, you hit snooze again. Why does this keep happening? It's not laziness, it's how your brain is wired. In this video, I'll show you the surprising neuroscience behind why your best intentions fail and how to actually rewire your habits for good. 2. The brain's autopilot problem. You know that moment when you reach for your phone without even thinking about it? That's your brain running on autopilot. It's not because you lack discipline, it's because your brain is designed to take shortcuts. Every time you repeat an action in the same context, your brain creates a neural pathway to make that behavior automatic. It's like building a dirt trail in a field. The more you walk it, the deeper the groove gets, until eventually, your feet just follow it without you even deciding to. Here's how it works in your brain. The basal ganglia, a small but powerful structure deep inside, lights up on MRI scans when you perform habitual actions. But when you try to consciously change a habit, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision making, has to work overtime. The problem? Your brain prefers the path of least resistance. Research from Wood and Runger 2016 shows that habits form fastest when behaviors repeat in consistent environments. That's why you might grab a snack every time you sit at your desk, even if you're not hungry. Your brain links the location with the action, and before you know it, you're eating chips without realizing you even opened the bag. I learned this the hard way when I tried to stop snacking while working from home. I'd tell myself, this time, I won't grab junk food, but by mid-morning, I'd find myself elbow deep in a bag of pretzels. It wasn't hunger, it was autopilot. My brain had wired snacking to my work routine so deeply that resisting it felt like trying to walk a different path through a muddy field. The old path was already worn in, and every time I gave in, I made it deeper. This isn't a willpower problem. It's a wiring problem. Your brain evolved to conserve energy, and habits are its way of outsourcing repetitive tasks so you don't have to think about them. That's great for things like tying your shoes, but it backfires when the habit is something you're trying to quit. The harder you try to resist, the more your brain clings to the familiar path. The key isn't to fight the autopilot, it's to reprogram it. You can't just tell yourself to stop a habit. You have to replace it with a new routine in the same context. If you always reach for your phone when you're bored, putting it in another room won't fix the underlying trigger. You need to give your brain a different action to default to. So how do these neural pathways actually form? It starts with repetition, but there's another layer, the reward system. Every time your brain gets a payoff from a habit, it reinforces that loop, making the path even harder to avoid. 3. The hidden rewards that trap us. Ever notice how bad habits always feel good in the moment? That's not an accident, it's how your brain is wired. Our brains prioritize immediate rewards over long-term benefits, which explains why we keep doing things we logically want to change. Scrolling through social media gives you a quick hit of dopamine, while the satisfaction from exercise takes time to kick in. Your brain will always lean toward the faster reward, even if it's worse for you in the long run. This is why variable rewards are so powerful. Research from Schultz 2016 shows that when rewards are unpredictable, like getting likes on a post or winning on a slot machine, they create a stronger habit loop. Your brain keeps chasing that next dopamine hit because it never knows when it's coming. Tech companies use this exact principle with notifications. Every buzz could be a message from a friend or just another spam email, but your brain keeps checking just in case. It's the same psychology that keeps people hooked on gambling. I didn't realize how this worked until I caught myself stress eating sweets without thinking about it. At first, it was just a cookie when I felt overwhelmed. Then it became a daily habit. The sugar gave me an immediate mood boost, so my brain linked stress with eating, even though I knew it made me feel worse later. The short-term relief outweighed the long-term consequences, and before I knew it, I trained myself to reach for snacks whenever I felt tense. Think of it like a payday loan. The quick cash feels like a solution in the moment, but the long-term costs are brutal. Bad habits work the same way. The immediate reward, whether it's junk food, social media, or procrastination, masks the real price you pay later. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's just following its natural programming to seek quick wins. This isn't about willpower. It's about understanding how your brain's reward system tricks you into repeating habits that don't serve you. The good news is, once you see how it works, you can use it to your advantage. Instead of fighting your brain's preference for quick rewards, you can design habits that give you both immediate and long-term payoffs. For example, if you're trying to exercise more, pair it with something you enjoy, like listening to a favorite podcast while you walk. The trick is to make the better choice feel rewarding right away, not just someday in the future. The real challenge isn't stopping bad habits, it's replacing them with something that satisfies the same craving in a healthier way. If you snack when you're bored, the solution isn't to white knuckle through cravings. It's to find something else that gives you a similar quick reward, like chewing gum or drinking flavored water. The less you rely on willpower, the easier it is to break the cycle. You're not weak for struggling with habits. You're up against millions of years of evolution that trained your brain to chase quick rewards. The key is to work with your brain's wiring, not against it. Next, let's look at the most powerful habit trigger of all, the one that flips the switch on autopilot behaviors without you even realizing it. 4. Emotions. The secret habit switch: stress, boredom, loneliness. These aren't just passing feelings, they're the secret switches that flip your habits on without you realizing it. Research shows about 90% of habitual behaviors are triggered by emotional states, not logical decisions. That's why you might bite your nails when anxious or scroll mindlessly when you're lonely. Your brain links these emotions to specific actions, creating shortcuts that bypass your conscious control. I didn't understand this until I noticed my own weird habit: stress cleaning. Whenever I felt overwhelmed, I'd suddenly start reorganizing my desk or wiping down counters. At first, I thought it was productive until I realized it was just a way to avoid dealing with the actual problem. The cleaning gave me a sense of control when I felt anxious, so my brain turned it into an automatic response. Studies from Lally et al. 2010 explain why habits form fastest when tied to strong emotions. Your brain remembers what made you feel better in a moment of stress or boredom, and it keeps going back to that solution. Think of emotions like passwords that unlock certain behaviors. When you feel lonely, your brain enters the loneliness password, and suddenly you're opening social media. When you're bored, it types in boredom, and there goes your hand reaching for snacks. The habit isn't the real problem, it's the emotion driving it. That's why so many habit change attempts fail. People focus on stopping the action without addressing what's triggering it in the first place. Here's how to spot these emotional triggers. Try the 5-minute journal method. For 1 week, every time you catch yourself doing a habit you want to change, pause and ask, what was I feeling right before this? Write it down. You might notice patterns. Maybe you always check your phone when you're waiting in line, not because you want to, but because you're uncomfortable with stillness. Or maybe you snack late at night when you're not hungry, just because you're avoiding going to bed. Once you see the emotions behind your habits, you can start rewiring them. If stress makes you clean, try a 2-minute breathing exercise instead. If loneliness drives you to social media, call a friend instead of scrolling. You're not eliminating the habit, you're giving your brain a different way to respond to the same emotion. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about recognizing how they steer your behavior without your permission. The more you pay attention to these emotional triggers, the more control you have over them. You start to see that your habits aren't random, they're solutions your brain came up with to cope with something. The good news is, once you know that, you can come up with better solutions. Changing habits isn't just about actions. It's about understanding the hidden emotional keys that turn them on. When you know what's really driving your behavior, you can start designing responses that actually work for you. So what's the most effective way to rebuild habits once you've spotted these triggers? Here's the thing about habit change: it's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about redesigning your environment so the right choices happen automatically. Start small this week. Pick one habit and just track when it happens. Don't judge yourself. Don't try to fix it yet, just notice what triggers it. Is it stress? Boredom? A specific time of day? Your brain isn't working against you. It's trying to help, using the tools it has. You just need to learn how to guide it. The more you understand its language, the easier change becomes. Start with observation. The rest follows.